So boys and girls, instead of showing a prophecy at the beginning of this chapter, we have like a journal entry. And this journal entry is from a gentleman, Master George Percy. And then in italics it says, observation gathered out of a discourse of the plantation of the Southern colony in Virginia. On Saturday, the 20th of December, in the year 1606, the fleet fell from London. Some would say I'm lucky. Others would say I'm doomed. I escaped the gallows, and that's why I am lucky. The magistrate mumbled something about having a son my age, pulled me out of my dark jail cell after just 2 days, and marched me down to the orphanage. Boys and girls, give me a synonym for magistrate.
Judge.
Oh, I meant for you to write it, but okay. All right, very good. A judge. Okay. His name Samuel Collier, age 11, son of dead peasants. Can you take him? He asked the Reverend Hunt when he opened the orphanage door. Now I must confide in you, we just were introduced to one of my all-time favorite characters of this book, Reverend Hunt. I adore this man. His whole entire character, his point of view, his approach to life, he's just a role model for me. Now, I'd like you to go back and look at that word, peasants. This time, can you write down a synonym for peasants? If you're not sure, what can you do to help get meaning? Before you ask, like pretend it's a test and you can't ask, what can you do? How do you find the meaning of a word, boys and girls? What can you do? Yeah, exactly. Context clues. Go back and maybe try to figure out why you're pointing. Did I write on the back? No? Okay. Yeah, good. I see where you would pick that, but that's not actually what peasants mean, not parents. Yeah, not parents, although you know that to be true, but that's not the meaning of this word. Good? Good. Yeah, very good. Yes, you nailed it. Megan, would you show everyone what you wrote? Turn it around so everyone can see. Blake, did you have a chance to see Megan's? Well, look. Do you see what it is now?
Yeah, I was just going to say,
low income, yes. Very low. Poor folks. Yes, okay. So the judge is remembering his own son, and he sort of saves Sam's life, right? And what is Sam's full name?
Samuel
Collier. And how old is he?
11.
So not much older than you guys, right? Yeah, some of you might be closer or might already be 11. Okay, let's keep going. Bottom of page 6. Everyone with me? The Reverend nodded to the magistrate and showed me to my bed in a row of neatly made beds. So where is Samuel now? In the orphanage. Reverend Hunt is tall, quiet man with broad shoulders and more patience than anyone I have ever known. He tells me I have a lot to learn about right and wrong. It was wrong to steal the locket. It was no longer yours. It belonged to the pawn shop owner. He says I need to make decisions based on love, not on anger. I love my mom. I wanted her locket back. So I was acting out of love, I say. He just shakes his head. The locket would have not brought your mother back. I know he's right, and I know the real reason I stole it is that I was angry at the bosses at the poorhouse, angry at our landlord, angry at the world. But how can I make decisions based on love when there is no one left to love? The orphanage was not a bad place. Better than sleeping on the streets. Maybe if I'd been less of a danger to the other boys, they'd have let me stay. But the boys started calling me thief and jail rat, and I knew only one way to settle an argument. With my fists. Colin's nose spurting bright red blood was quite an accomplishment. But I think Richard's tooth only fell out because it was already loose when I punched him. As far as being doomed, if I am doomed, then so is Richard. We are the two boys Reverend Hunt decided to bring with him on this journey to the new world. Richard is to be the Reverend's servant, and I am to serve a man named Captain John Smith. It is early on December morning as we walk from the orphanage to the docks. For fog hangs thick and cold. It makes the stone houses drip and the wattle and daub houses look soggy. Richard carries Reverend Hunt's satchel, heavy with his books and Bible, and some extra clothes. My new shoes clump on the cobblestones. See what I mean about descriptions that help you use all of your senses? So hopefully you're not just visualizing the descriptions, but you're hearing that clop sound on the cobblestones. The shoes are too big, passed on from an older boy who died at the orphanage last month. But Reverend Hunt says, I can't go barefoot to the new world. The new world. The boys, Colin and the others, think we will die there. They even begged Reverend Hunt not to go. The Reverend explained to them the importance of the mission. King James has granted a charter to the Virginia Company of London to send the men to the New World to Virginia. The men will explore for gold and silver and jewels, and for the new passage to the Orient. And they'll cut down New World trees to send back to England and to build English houses, all to make a big profit for the investors of the Virginia Company. But the real importance, Reverend Hunt says, is to bring the good news of Christ to the native people who live in Virginia. He says we will also look for survivors from the Roanoke colony, the settlers who went to Virginia with Sir Walter Raleigh over 20 years ago. That is why Reverend Hunt wants to go. But I want to go for the gold. They say that it washes on shore with every tide. We reach the harbor. The sky is gray with morning light, and the place is alive with commotion. Hawkers call out their wares, and I smell fresh baked bread. Boys and girls, please write down a synonym for wares. Hawkers call out their wares. That's a strange sentence. What do you think by using context clues? What do you think wares means? Hawkers call out their wares, and I smell fresh baked bread. Sailors pull on ropes and pulleys. Oh, Megan nailed it again. Yes, Megan, share your answer. This was a hard one. Excellent comprehension, Megan. I'm so impressed with you. Yes, good, Joshua. So I know that's a hard one. Their wares are things that they would like to sell. There you go. Or T-shirts. You know, you go to a concert, people are selling T-shirts or different items that, you know, like memorabilia from the event.
I was thinking about writing like sales, like
Things that they're going to sell. Items that people sell. Good. Yeah, so now, does everyone understand what wares are? So what do you think hawkers are? Excellent. People who call it out. Very good. Okay. Officers shout orders, and I'm in the middle, top of page 9. and sailors march up the gangways carrying loads on their shoulders. Reverend Hunt points out the 3 ships that will be ours. Okay, so how many ships are going to be going on this expedition? 3 ships. All right. Their hulls and scaffolding are newly painted in rich blue, deep maroon, and pale yellow. So now you're visualizing the colors on the ships. He says the largest one is the Susan Constant. Next in size is the Godspeed, and the smallest, a Pennant, is the Discovery. They bob next to the docks, and I watch as crates of chickens are carried on board. I scan the throng of men milling around the docks. There are hordes of gentlemen dressed in velvet and silk, sailors in their wide-legged slops, and one very dirty boy selling eels. Boys and girls, go back to that word hordes. Another word we haven't introduced with our vocabulary lessons yet. So using context clues, what do you think that word could mean? Writing it down and showing it to me, please. Oh, yes. Excellent. Beautiful. Yes, good. Awesome. Is that cluster? Yes. Good. Yes, you guys are nailing this one. I thought that was a hard vocabulary word, but you're nailing it. What helped you come up with the meaning of that word?
There are like a horde of
Hordes of men. So lots of men, clusters of men. More of a cluster, not necessarily messy. Maybe unorganized. I just don't know about messy. Now, Peyton, did you give me your synonym for it?
maybe like a horde of pigs or something.
Large groups, hordes of pigs, yes. Now, I don't know if you would use clumps to describe men. That's a good word from our last novel, Kayla, so I like how you're making that connection. But when I think of clumps, I think of maybe clumps of paper or clumps of thread. Yes, Groups. You're right. Okay, so let's go back. Again, we're on page 9. Hordes. Okay, there are hordes of gentlemen dressed in velvet and silk, sailors in their wide-legged slops, and one very dirty boy selling eels. You know what eels are? They come from the what?
And they're electric.
They could be. I wonder where he is. Can you sit up and follow along with your book on your desk, please, so I can see everything? I wonder where he is, this Captain John Smith. Reverend Hunt says he is a soldier, an officer, not a ship's captain, but a captain in the English military. And he is a commoner, a yeoman. So I don't look for him among the gentlemen. So he's not of that ranking where he would be able to hang out with the gentlemen. I'm to be Captain Smith's page, which means I am supposed to serve him and learn from him. What's another word we've talked about that means to serve and to learn from?
Shadow apprentice.
Very good. And you know what? We did talk about shadow too. An apprentice is someone that learns from the skills of another. I don't argue with Reverend Hunt, but inside I scoff at the idea. Scoff, everybody. I scoff at the idea. Me, an apprentice to an officer? I've never been teachable in all my life, except my mom teaching me how to read. Now that I sat still for. But my father tried to teach me smithing, and when I ruined a piece of iron, out came his fist. I won't have some man I hardly know trying to beat some sense into me. So let me just give you a little bit of kind of foreshadowing of what's going to happen with this. People, especially children that are of this status, common folk, were not taught to read. It was very unusual back then for the common people to be literate. Literate means to be able to read. So for this child who is known as, such a poor, homeless person, it was just almost unheard of that he would know how to read. Yes, Andrew.
Isn't he pretty much a page? Because he is a child and he's working.
Yep, that's why they used page back in there. Exactly, yes.
That reminds me of the wooden boy because he knows how to read and write.